We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the first thing on the agenda is approving the minutes from the December 1st Village Workshop. Have you all had a chance to read it? I don't think we have a copy.
You need a copy.
So let's push that to the January meeting. We'll do that with this one. Sorry. All right, on to regular business. So the first order of business is we have a request to extend the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority agreement that we have with them for the operation of a consecutive water system. And that consecutive water system is the water system for Traditions. We reviewed and approved this last year. I did ask, I said, how many more years do you think we're going to be doing this? And I don't know the last time you went by Traditions, but it's hopping. A lot has been constructed, and there are quite a few people who live there. So Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority said they expect that they will take it over as of next year. So they're thinking this is the last year. And what this entails is each water system is required to do testing. And we provide water to Traditions. So if we use the test site at the master meter for Traditions, then we're covering both one of our test sites and we cover testing for them. So it does not cost us any money to do this. It is certainly of help to the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority. I would like to make a motion that we accept this agreement.
Second.
Thank you, Brent. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good deal. All right, the next order of business is the elevator maintenance and service contract. It has, I will say thanks to Village Clerk Jen Kavanaugh, we discovered that our current elevator service contract was automatically rolled over, which you are not allowed to do in New York State. We had no notification, and Jen also got another quote from Otis Elevator Service, and we got a third quote from Ferens, which does the elevator for Tivoli, among other places in the area. And there are two different versions of the contract. One is what most seem to call maintenance or plus, where it's not just coming to inspect, but it's also providing whatever parts. If it's a major repair, we would have to pay for the major repair, but this covers labor and parts for the most part for the basic items for an elevator. And it's quarterly checks on the elevator, and it includes the required annual pressure test for the elevator. Schindler is our current service. It was a 10-year contract. Schindler is offering another 10-year contract. They've offered a 10% discount off what we are currently paying. It does go up over time. And then the secondary the other service is basically they just come and do an inspection, but if anything needs fixing or what have you, that's extra. We pay for that. And Otis is the lowest price for the maintenance or plus service. I believe Schindler is the lowest for the only service. And Ferens is the most expensive for both of those.
So the two different Otis proposals, one 250 a month and the other one is for 100 and,
175. That's per month,
so the premium one, 250,
yes.
that's a,
Versus the Otis one, which is for 67 a month, or 5,600 a year, whereas the 250 is 3,000. If I remember my math correctly. So my thought is that it makes sense to me to do the maintenance or the plus program, because then everything's covered, everything normal is covered, and we know what the cost will be. We can budget for that easily. And again, if there's a major issue, we're going to have to pay for that anyway. And I myself would be comfortable going with Otis. They're a large elevator service company. Do you have any experience with elevators?
Not much, a little bit. Yeah, Otis, and what was the other one?
Schindler?
Schindler, we've got both of those.
and
Any-
Ferentz was the third one. They do,
And I don't have any experience
they do Tivoli's elevator.
with it. Yeah,
Probably doesn't. Probably
Okay.
doesn't.
I don't have any experience. Just outside, in my own, outside.
So nothing. No major flaws between the two, aside from the fact they're both big companies. And
No, not that I know.
thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot. Any other thoughts?
I like the Otis Plus as well. But Schindler was our manufacturer of the elevator, is that correct?
Yes. And the process will be Otis will come. They know what the elevator is. They know the service that we had been being provided. And they have not inspected the elevator physically. In the contract, it says they will do an inspection. And if they find something that says, gee, we can't do that, I'm sure Schindler would take us back.
And Otis does work on other manufacturers besides their own?
Yes.
And they would have no problem securing parts if needed from Schindler, I would think.
Either they would secure them from Schindler or they would provide an equivalent. My guess is that they have equivalent parts. I would not expect that they would provide Schindler parts unless they really had to.
As far as their on-call responses, if, because that elevator is so vital for the upstairs police department getting in and out, would they be, I don't know if this is a question that was asked, but are they available
Yes.
ASAP? They're local enough that they can come quickly?
I think they have regional people, and so the summary, I think, was a good one from the Otis salesperson. It says, usage-based preventative maintenance service, major and minor required equipment repairs, unlimited service-related calls during regular working hours, all required code safety tests, 24/7 dispatching. I think that answers your question there.
They're also located in Poughkeepsie from,
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
So
versus
24/7 telephone monitoring, e-service,
Albany. The other one says Albany.
online reports and email notifications,
Shouldn't I mean-
dedicated account manager, dedicated repair teams, dedicated regional adjusters.
How long is the contract for?
10 years.
10 years.
If we wanted to end the contract early, what's in the contract is that we would pay half of the remaining years.
Okay.
And that's actually the same as Schindler, and I actually looked at that for depending on where we were in their contract, because Otis is certainly significantly less expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can be wrong a fair bit before we end up paying the same as we would for Schindler.
Great.
Anyone like to make a motion as to?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the proposal from Otis, the Plus,
I think theirs is maintenance. It's the Otis maintenance program.
The Otis Maintenance Plus program, is that right? Or just Otis
Just maintenance, yeah.
The one for 3,000 annual,
Yes.
250 monthly for 10 years, which would put us at 12/20/32.
Yes, it would.
That's my motion.
Awesome. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Charlie. Any further questions or discussion?
Just that this is a lot of research, so thank you.
Did you have a question?
I just a comment, make sure your emergency contacts are up to date.
Absolutely. That's actually something that was already on my list, no matter who we picked. Because I'm not sure we. Yes, thank you. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. Thank you. That's a happy thing, and thank you, Jen, for bringing that to our attention. You just saved the village $2,600. The next item that I added to the budget is on the SCADA system, software, computer. And I have a resolution for replacing the SCADA water system computer and upgrading the software. The SCADA system, SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. It's a hardware and software combination that enables automation of our water system using real-time data. The computer and server for the SCADA system is out of date and not running efficiently and is at risk of failing. The village engineer, Delaware Engineering, and the water operator, C3ND, recommend that the village replace the current server and computer as soon as possible. The WIA grant that we have received includes upgrading the actual SCADA software, which is separate and different from the server and the software that just makes the computer function. The SCADA software is a whole nother level. But since we need to upgrade the server and computer now, it will be most efficient to upgrade to a server and computer that can accommodate the upgraded SCADA system under the WIA grant, which is why it costs more than just getting a server and a computer. We have received and reviewed multiple proposals, and we did get three quotes for the server and computer system. Avanti Control System is the lowest price. And I have the recommendation from Delaware Engineering. We received proposals for a SCADA server to replace the server that is near the end of its useful life. Delaware Engineering has reviewed the proposals for conformance with a request for proposal. Attached is a complete copy of the bid results for the project. The low bidder was Avanti Control Systems. The low bidder is in conformance with the project requirements. Delaware Engineering is recommending that the Village of Red Hook award the noted contract to the apparent low bidder. The three bidders are Avanti Controls for $18,000, General Controls for $20,800, and Smith Controls for $22,000. Happy to, I only made 2 copies, but if you all want to take a look. There is also the software that allows for the system to talk to our water operator, which is called Teamworks, or Teamworks Solutions is the company. And to upgrade the software to the new computer, that cost is $4,613. And that would replace the CTEC and Win 911 voice alarm notifications. We did not get multiple bids for that because this is what we use, and there would be other things that would have to change if we changed the system that we were using for this specific alarm notification. So I would like to propose or to motion that we accept this resolution, number 34, that now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the purchase of the proposed server and computer as proposed by Avanti Control System for $18,000, and the proposal from Teamwork Solutions for $4,613 to be paid for with ARPA funding. We still have $170,000, slightly less than that, of ARPA funding that we have not allocated. And this is right in the center of what ARPA is about in terms of protecting our infrastructure, which is exactly what this will do. Do I have a second for my motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mel Corca. Any? Yeah, we're not purchasing from Delaware. They just reviewed the bids. This is different. I mean, you're welcome to if that you'd prefer, but I don't think you have to.
All right.
Just for clarity, Brent Kowalczyk works for Delaware Engineering for different projects, not for the village, but I don't think this particular instance there's any conflict of interest. Any questions? Comments? Concerns?
I think there's something we need, one, to keep the system up and running until the WIA grant kicks in and we're ready to go on that, but also the monitoring system that C3ND will use will enable Fernando to look at all the monitor the gauging and everything on his cell phone, and any alarms that come up, he could be directly notified, and it's a good thing. So,
Can I ask, sorry, are you done?
You may.
Can I ask the location, or is the server, the room that it is now, there's temperature control issues, right? Is this on our property or is it somewhere else? Is that not a?
Isn't it in the water treatment plant?
yeah.
Are there
Okay.
temperature control issues?
No, I mean, I just know there's server issues here in this building.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Um,
it's not a concern.
it is not a concern.
Great,
No.
I was just wondering.
But also the server's in the basement and it gets too hot because
Yeah.
it's not air conditioned, et cetera. It generates heat itself. But no, I believe that has
It's
not
not
come
an
up as an issue.
Great, awesome.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. Thank you. All right, the next thing is budget adjustments. I did put on in front of you budget adjustments. Most of these, but the budget adjustments are to adjust the budget to reflect actual expenditures. So, for example, the catch basin culverts, the final cost came in at $14,530, which is $20 over what was in the budget. So, adding $20 to that budget, that work is done. We have done a fair amount of work at Abraham's Park, and so those numbers came in a little higher than what we had budgeted. Community beautification, we had some benches that needed to be repaired. Brent and I were talking about how those benches could well be 10 years, some of them 10 years ago, and they've held up very well. The state retirement cost and the police retirement cost has come in, and so these are actual. So the police retirement fund cost slightly higher than budget, and the remaining retirement fund came in significantly under budget. And if you look, the 1989.4, the other government support that got the extra, that is where we allow for adding to our fund balance. And so that seemed to be a good spot to put that money for now.
So the community beautification, that was for the repair parts for the benches?
That is no, actually, now that you say that, we didn't put that there. We put that under street maintenance.
So this was work we did to either remove the lights.
Yes, that is correct.
That shouldn't be under community beautification, though. I don't think.
Removing the lights from, I mean, otherwise it's,
Yeah.
well, we can look at that. I can take that line out if you prefer.
Yeah.
All right, let's take that line out.
Because I think that's just for trees.
And that means that,
And we were over budget up until we get the reimbursed from the New York Urban Forestry Council grant of $1,000. So
The adjustment to make it 0 is in the, is in here. I think that goes up, so that goes down. I'll do the math after.
okay.
Okay, not a problem. We do have the street maintenance budget, if you noticed, is significantly over budget. There may be some things in there that we may be able to pay for out of the emergency winter recovery fund, or there may be another option. And so before I make a budget adjustment, I want to review those options. And then under the water fund, now that we are charging interest and penalties, we are receiving interest and penalties monies as people are paying off their water bills. But the water finals, there aren't that many, and it's not being captured that way. So it's an easy one to reduce, keep it even. May I have a motion to accept the budget adjustments?
So moved.
Resolution 35. Thank you, Brent. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Melcorca. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Aye. That was me too. Okay. I am happy to, before we go so just mentioning that the next village board meeting is January 9th. The next workshop meeting is January 26th. And budget process starts in January. So we may have some special meetings during that process. I would, gosh, I don't know if I need to make a formal motion. Rob, do you have something you'd like to share? You guys all okay if we let Rob go now for, call it public comment?
Sure.
Thank you.
Just the October reports.
Ah, fabulous. Add that to my, do you want to share the report with us? That comes next. Why don't you do that? Since we have you here, let's do that. Let us know.
All right, so in the village of Red Hook, we had 16 calls in the month of October.
Rob, the camera is that way, and just to clarify, this is Rob Fry from the Red Hook Fire Company. And your position, remind me?
I'm on the board of directors.
There you go. Thank you.
So we had 16 calls in the village of Red Hook in the month of October, and we had a total of 83 calls outside the village of Red Hook. So that includes the town.
And of those 16 in the village, were they often the largest amount is an EMS type call?
Yes. Yeah, that's generally the case. I didn't count up the numbers, but looking at 16 calls, we got 2, 4, 6, 7 were EMS, and then the other 9 were others.
Gotcha.
Good intent or unintentional, so. Yeah.
And I believe I saw a Red Hook fire truck in the Parade of Lights on Saturday.
Yes, we had our ladder truck in there.
That's awesome. That was great. Anything else to report from the Red Hook Fire Company?
No?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming. I really
Sure.
appreciate it. Thanks for the report.
Sure.
Okay. I will also take this moment to introduce Lori Urban, who is here with us. Lori has been hired as our bookkeeper and will be starting in January. So thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the opportunity, Karen and the board. I'm very excited to run this.
Wonderful. Okay, now we can move on to village reports. Our treasurer, Ray Toll, is still, he's feeling better, but he's not 100% after his flu, so we sent him home. So I am going to read the treasurer's report. So these are account balances as of November 30th, 2022. The general fund has $970,471.96. Water fund has $237,872.87. The payroll clearing account has $32,065.99. Sewer fund has $57,393.38. Hardscrabble has $9,776.48. Village Green has $7,618.92. Health insurance has $3,039.67, and petty cash has $30.83. The reserve checking balances. The fire department is $5,034.49. Police, $14,588.50. USDA, $134,064.01. Highway, $30,589.13. Snow reserve, $3,280.06. Not very much in the snow reserve. Tower reserve, $17,714.45. Unemployment, $4,544.91. Court reserve, $3,299.16. Office reserve, $972.69. Monthly expenses for the month of November. General fund, $311,497.95. Water fund, $56,348.17. Payroll clearing account, $2,644.18. And sewer was $330,611.73. That is the treasurer's report. The next are my reports. I have the police report. In the month of November, we had a total of 314 incidents. In the village of Red Hook, there were 187. In the town of Red Hook, there were 113. And in the village of Tivoli, there were 14. We had 95 water tower security checks. Uniform traffic tickets, there were 81. 43 in the village of Red Hook, 16 in the town of Red Hook, and 22 in the village of Red Hook. Parking tickets, there were 8 in the village of Red Hook, 3 in the village of Tivoli, and 1 in the town of Red Hook. There were 3 arrests in the month, 2 in the village of Red Hook, 1 in the town of Red Hook, and none in the village of Tivoli. So that is the police report. You've heard the fire report. My personnel report is sitting in the room, so welcome, Lori. And that is all for my reports. On to Deputy Mayor Kowalczyk.
I'll start with the Village Green Committee monthly report. The current balances of the Village Green Committee's related budget accounts as of November 30th are as follows. Community beautification, we're in the hole, $995.40. And again, as stated during our budget revisions there, the New York State Urban Forestry Council grant award of $1,000 is forthcoming. I believe we have all the information.
We do, so I should be able to submit that this week.
So that'll balance us out there. The 2022 annual Fall Planting Day was held on November 5th. 21 volunteers planted a total of 18 trees at sites located in Richard M. Abrahams Memorial Park, Red Hook Village Municipal Parking Lot, Memorial Park, and on Firehouse Lane. And I did report on this last month, and you can check on the October 2022, the monthly report for more information. Residents and businesses interested in having a tree or trees planted on their adjacent right-of-way or New York State highway right-of-ways, volunteering for planting days, or sponsoring the Village Green Beautification Project may contact David Pearson, the village clerk, or myself. Or David Pearson's also in the throes of taking care of our Tree City USA application. It's an annual application. This will be our 21st year as Tree City USA. So that's due this week, the end of this week. The Village of Red Hook Highway Department monthly report for November. The Village Highway Department will continue picking up leaves and brush through December as weather permits. I did notice a few piles laying around, and hopefully they weren't scattered too much during the plowing of last night.
Yeah, actually, I was going to mention, I think he's planning to do the final pickups this week.
And that includes both leaves and brush.
I believe so, yeah.
All right.
To finish that all up and put all the snow equipment onto our trucks, et cetera, because it takes some time to take
Yep.
the things off and put it on. So
Uh,
this
the
is
vi-
your week if it's not out there.
The village's seasonal all-night parking law is currently in effect as of November 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023. No parking is permitted on village streets from 11 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. and on New York State highways, which would be Route 9, Broadway, and Route 199 Market Street, from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. When snow or ice removal operations are underway, any vehicle parked or abandoned on any street may be removed by or under the direction of the Red Hook Police Department or any responding law enforcement agency, and costs associated with vehicle towing and storage will be charged to the vehicle's owners. And the owner and/or occupant of every building or lot in the village with an adjoining sidewalk shall remove snow and ice within 24 hours of a snowstorm. At the direction of the mayor and/or board of trustees, the village highway department may remove snow and ice left uncleared at a cost of $2 per linear foot. This cost will be assessed and collected with the next tax levy. And for all those who do have a sidewalk, I joined that group, and I was out shoveling my sidewalk very early this morning, but it is done.
Good for you.
The village board of trustees should consider replacing signs that post the village's snow ordinance with a posting of the village's seasonal all-night parking law as per local law number 4 of June 19th, 2014. There was no revenue from the sale of scrap metal received by the village during the month of November. I did receive one, I think, however, that was accepted in November, but that'll be added on to the December's monthly report. Total revenue generated from the sale of scrap metal in fiscal year 2022-2023 is $2,284.20. Since inception of the scrap metal recycling program in September of 2007, $46,147.66 has been generated. Proceeds from this program go toward the purchase of tools and equipment for the village highway, water, and materials management departments. Residents and businesses interested in donating scrap metal may contact the village highway department at 845-758-8600 or the village clerk's office. And the highway department will assist property owners by picking up scrap metal upon request. The Intermunicipal Task Force and Red Hook Infrastructure monthly report. This is lengthy. This will be, I guess, put in our website so people can have an update on what the sewer and the water projects are doing. But just real briefly, on the last meeting that we had last week, an update, we had 69, as of November 4th, 69 tanks had been installed to date. Today, December 12th, we are dangerously close of starting up the plant for real. It's going, but there's a few parts that are not completely hooked up yet that keep us from getting a certificate of operation. So we're moving in that direction.
Dare I say it's scheduled to happen tomorrow.
It is a dare. So, and then Aramco, which is the manufacturers of the pumps, they'll be out this week with the startup of individual pumps in the tanks of individual properties for the betterment of our operators and also our highway department, who will be doing some of the maintenance of the pumps and treatment system. The village of Red Hook. So we actually met. We meet every week, but or every other week. So meetings were held on November 3rd, 4th, and the 18th. And we did have meetings with our village attorney to discuss procedures to extend the substantial final completion date, which have been extended to January 31st. Let's see if any other highlights here. And that's pretty much it.
And just to clarify, any restoration of properties will take place in the spring.
Yeah.
Can't really plant any grass right
And
now.
I've been talking to a property owner on East Market Street. A little concerned his septic tank is underneath his driveway, which is paved, and he was concerned about that, knowing that the plants are closed for the year, so they'll probably put in a cold patch to hold it for the spring, and then come back and do final restoration. On the Village Red Hook Water Distribution System Maintenance and Improvement Project, the Sewer Service Area Operating and Maintenance Procedure and Protocol. Meetings were held on November 4th in the Village Building. We met with Delaware Engineering, C3ND, who's our operator, and Mayor Smythe and myself. We discussed connections between the sewer wastewater treatment plant and the existing wastewater treatment plant, which is formerly Red Hook Commons treatment plant. Possible future rerouting so that the existing plant can operate independently, and when we have to repair on the new plant, the old plant can pick up some of the things. So that's something that we're considering in the future. And we discussed reviewing for consistency how meters for apartments are installed. Discussed purchasing surplus meters from other municipalities. We also discussed the status of the Badger water meters, billing software, and meter reading technology. The software conversion was scheduled for November 15th. I don't know if that happened or not.
It did.
Oh,
And so
good.
the December water reading will happen on the new equipment.
And the curb stops throughout the village's water distribution system are being GPS located by Bard College student interns. The location of the curb stops will be placed on the new asset inventory maps.
Just to clarify, this was a semester-long do the best you can, and so they are finishing up their class, so we have a ways to go.
We need fresh volunteers.
Exactly.
Delaware engineers preparing specifications and seeking estimates for the new computer server for the wastewater, or for the water treatment plant, which they have done and we have approved. We also reviewed the status of the WIA grant requiring an amended bond resolution, which was approved on 11/14/2022. Engagement of the Bond Council, which is Resolution 30/2022, and approved on November 14th. And the engagement with Legal Counsel, Resolution number 31/2022, also approved on November 14th, in agreement with the engineers. There were no meetings of the Intermunicipal Task Force. Both Charlie and I represent the Village of Red Hook.
Before you go on, I just want to clarify the Diamond Maps program that we did a 30-day free trial. We have purchased that for the coming year.
And we're still awfully excited about that
Yes.
piece of technology and tool. I hope it's used and expanded often. Some of the committees I sit on in the town, it's been quiet. The Town of Red Hook Zoning Review Committee, Sawkill Watershed Community, the Northern Dutchess Alliance Executive Committee did not meet for the month of November. There are also no meetings at the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board. The current balance of the Community Preservation Fund as of November 30th, 2022 is $3,439,965.64. There are no meetings held at the Village of Red Hook Zoning Review Committee or the Village of Red Hook Public Spaces Initiatives. A very quiet month for committees, and that's all I have.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next up, Trustee Lang.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. If it's about spending the money, I fully support it.
Yeah, that's huge. Of course, everything's gone up. I was going to ask about the snow ordinance signs. Do you know how many signs are around the village that you think should be replaced?
I think there's one on each gateway coming in, so I saw one on Linden Avenue, right before Park Avenue.
Okay.
So there could be a
So it
Benner
sounds like
Road.
there's at least 4.
There may be on Benner Road coming in,
Okay.
and then on 9 East, 9 West, or 9 North, 9 South.
County handles those, they were just replaced not too long ago.
Okay. The
Snow
county?
ordinance
Or the
ones?
state handles those, sorry.
On,
And I know at least on 199,
The snow ordinance sign.
Yes.
Okay.
They were our signs or their signs?
It says the Village of Red Hook, but they're larger than our normal,
So do they say snow ordinance on
I
it?
believe they do.
So we're going to change those. We're going to change all the signs that say snow ordinance. And
Well, I mean, if it's on a state route, I don't know
Maybe
if
we can
that's-
do a patch over the existing sign. I was, where were you headed with your question? Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I mean, diamond maps would be great for that too, to know where all the street signs are. And also I just wanted to know how big of a project it would be, if that's a recommendation.
it
'cause-
shouldn't be too much. I think one of the future data entries will be the street signs throughout the village. It includes stop signs, no parking signs, yield signs. Periodically, according to the Federal Highway Administration manual of uniform traffic control devices, there is a rotation, a life expectancy of those signs.
Mhm.
And so we do have to keep an inventory of those. So that's on the list of things to do.
Great. And this, changing it for this local law, is this because it was incorrectly labeled, or is it because it's a new requirement to
The
basic-
local law, no, the signs are posted, and the law was revised, I believe, in 2011,
14.
14.
Okay,
The signs were put up previous to that,
got it.
based on the title of, at least I know, from 2007. So we just want to make the title the same as the law, so there's no discrepancy or confusion.
Would it be less work to change the name of the law to match the signs?
We just changed the law.
Okay.
Well, not just, I mean, 2014, but,
I was
Yeah.
going to ask our highway foreman to give me a price for changing out those signs.
Okay.
So-
I'm just wondering if snow ordinance is like what people is like a normal way of saying it, whether it makes more sense just to change the law back to.
The
Being
problem is
called-
it's not snow-related.
Ah, I see.
It's
Okay, it's seasonal.
So it's not
related.
just, it's not just
it's the
when
law.
it snows, it's the
Yes.
timing.
Got it. Okay. It is,
I knew
but
there
it is in relation to snow removal, right? We do it
Yes.
so that we can. So it is,
Well, but it's also to get leaves.
the law is identical to what it was back in 2007. The title was changed. And I
okay.
think one of the reasons it was changed, because we did add a seasonal sidewalk on Linden Avenue, so it was a shared project between the town of Red Hook and the village of Red Hook. The town of Red Hook does shovel their and plow their sidewalks. The village of Red Hook relies on private property owners to do that work. So, because no one lives there, we decided to make that a seasonal thing. So that was the reason it was changed. But the verbiage in the law is identical. It hasn't changed.
Seasonal all-night parking law.
It's a big sign.
It's a big sign, and also I don't feel like it's very clear. It doesn't clarify. It doesn't say that it's prohibited. It doesn't really say that it's like an ordinance that would infer that you could look it up. It's a little confusing, that's all.
Yep, that's the law.
Interesting, okay.
We could change them. You guys can consider changing, but
Yeah, I have to
Seasonal
I ha-
parking in effect.
I have to believe there's a way that we can follow the law, but use language that's easier to follow.
Because this almost infers that you get all-night parking. It doesn't, yeah. There's no prohibition, there's no negative word to, it just says all night, right?
It needs to clarify that you can't park there overnight.
I'm beating a dead
We can-
horse, sorry.
I will bring some proposed language for how the sign is going to read, along with some pricing.
Thank you for entertaining that conversation.
Absolutely.
I'm still done. So Charlie.
You're still done. Okay, and it is now Charlie's turn.
Right, we're done with the streets and signage. Let me report first on materials management. So for the month of November, we collected 0.92 tons of commingled, 0.43 tons of cardboard, and 0.81 tons of paper for a total recycling of 2.16 tons. And we also collected and disposed of 7.28 tons of garbage. We sold $2,793 worth of garbage tags, and we successfully did not have any contaminated recycling last month, so that's great.
I think it's possible that our highway department may be aiding in that effort.
Really? Are they cleaning stuff on the spot, or what?
I think they may be pulling out things they know is contaminated.
Okay. Right. It'd be nice if they didn't have to do that, obviously.
It certainly would. But perhaps I can follow up with our highway foreman and just ask if there's a way that we could communicate the recycling calendar for 2023 is coming out shortly.
That's true. We should take that as an opportunity to remind everybody. And
On the back side of the calendar
Clearly
has
state.
what you can recycle and what you can't. So it's a great tool.
yes, it is.
But if they're, I mean, the other is if they're finding that there's a particular household that is consistently putting in lots of extra stuff, there might be an opportunity to send a specific letter.
They leave a notice.
Oh, they leave a notice. Well, there you go. They're already on it.
Okay.
Nice.
But it's great news. It's the contamination has gone down significantly. So kudos to all.
Yeah. No, that's... The message does seem to be getting out there. And then on the Village of Red Hook Water Treatment Facilities monthly report. So for the month of November, the water treatment facility treated 6,302,200 total gallons, which is an average of 210,100 gallons per day. And that looks very nice on our monthly chart.
Well done.
So the trends are good. I mean, I think you'd expect to see a reduction in water consumption as we go into the winter, but this is the way it should be.
It's also a nice reduction from a year ago, if you look at last November.
Right. I mean, every so often I put together a longer timeline so that we can see the trends. So it's high time I did that. Yeah, but that's good to know. I think being right around that 200,000 gallons per day or just above is where we want to be. There are also 3 bacteriological samples were collected and analyzed for coliform and E. coli bacteria, and they all came through clean. And during the month of November, the water treatment plant used 75 gallons of sodium hypochlorite, which is an average daily use of 2.4 gallons per day. Obviously, the lower the water usage, the smaller the amount of sodium hypochlorite we have to use. And that saves us money. There are still a few outstanding issues, deficiencies in the water system that need to be addressed.
Just to note the well control issues, that's related to the server and computer that we just approved. So that has an impact on that.
Right. Yes, no, because we've been having problems on and off with the current system, so that's, very timely. Okay.
And on the wastewater system side, some of the deficiency issues have been addressed. I think it's possible the blower system maintenance, the oil and belts may have arrived.
Okay.
And just something too, I don't know, when the sewer system gets really fully operational, are we going to be including, I guess, monthly report for the sewer system as well? I mean, right now he's already indicating sampling of BODs and fecal coliform, that kind of thing. But going back to on the sewer system is deficiencies. I think once the new treatment plant is up and running, we'll be able to shut down the existing treatment plant, the previous Red Hook Commons treatment plant, and doing some repairs, so inspections and repairs on that. So that'll give us an opportunity to hopefully resolve some of these issues on this deficiencies list with the sewer
Right,
system.
I mean, presumably that would be the time to replace or
Right.
rebuild the sand filters and other major
Right.
structural issues.
So we'll have the not only the opportunity but the wherewithal to close down that plant and,
Right.
and transfer everything over to the newer treatment plant.
But also, to your point, we should be having a report, or we will shortly have a report for Plant 1 and Plant 2 that should be added to this report.
Mm.
Is the idea for them both to run at the same time or is it the idea to close down plant 1?
No, the idea is for them to run at the same time.
Okay, just to
So
close it down for repairs.
The flow into Plant 1 can be diverted into Plant 2, but it
Mhm.
cannot happen the other way around.
Got it.
It's not engineered that way, because
And that's-
Plant 2 is bigger.
And that's one of the things that we were looking at to do in the future, to make sure that can work both ways.
Got
If
it.
we
To
did
do
need to shut
repairs.
down half the new plant and use the existing plant and half the new plant, we can do major repairs on the new plant.
It would be ideal to have that
Yes.
flexibility.
And the new plant is modular, right? So it can be expanded, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
The old, oh, I'm sorry.
The old one too, it's the same manufacturer.
Oh, okay,
And so we doubled that, but we do have room to keep adding components.
okay.
So we can add a whole nother, what you see there, we can double,
So they could both have the same capacity and you could switch back
or
and
we
forth.
can make them bigger.
Okay,
So,
interesting to know, thank you.
Anything else? Charlie?
No.
That's it? Okay. On to Mel Corco, trustee Caraval.
A lot of the meetings that I go to are also kind of quiet, so these are going to be shorter than normal. Red Hook Together's monthly meeting was held on Thursday, December 1st, 2022, at 5:30 PM over Zoom. December's topic was focused on a presentation made by the Audubon Working Group, who asked community organizations to consider pledging to be more sustainable in 2023. The Red Hook Town Economic Development Committee. The committee meets every other Wednesday at Village Hall at 8:30 a.m. The EDC and the Chamber work together to put out decorated farm machinery around Red Hook and postponed all meetings for the month of December. Minutes of the EDC meetings are available on the Town of Red Hook's website. The Village of Red Hook Communications Committee. The committee meets every first Wednesday of the month at 1:30 p.m. in the Village Hall conference room. This month's meeting focused on building a postal mailing list for residential addresses, reassessing the website menus a year in from the website reorganization, and creating a new welcome letter for new residents. The committee also discussed the best way to ensure community news items from the newsletter are also featured on the village homepage, as well as how to create a friendlier website experience for proprietors hoping to open a business in the village. ADA accessibility, both in terms of the requirements for an ADA page, and installing a plugin to increase accessibility is also being researched in order to be implemented as soon as possible. The Village of Red Hook Hardscrabble Events Committee. The Events Committee and the Village Highway Department participated in the Episcopal Church's Holiday Tree Event. For a full rundown of the many events happening in the village this month, please refer to the Mayor's newsletter on the village website. The Village of Red Hook Human Relations Committee. The committee meets every first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. in the Village Hall conference room. Discussions at this month's meeting were centered around the portrait project called We Are Neighbors. We had a meeting with the Inside Out group and posted our initial action on their website. More details and how to participate will be forthcoming.
If I can just go back just for a moment to the holiday tree event. The village does have a tree decorated with red hooks and the logo of the village on ornaments. It is quite wonderful with the logo as the top of the tree, but I also, the highway department has come through this year with a wonderful tree that fully reflects the the world that the highway department lives in. So I encourage everyone to go to the Christchurch Episcopal front lawn on Route 9 and check out all the wonderful trees that are decorated there.
And their tree even lights up, very fun at night. It flashes.
Oh, does
and-
it?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't
It's,
been to it
yeah.
in the dark.
And it's quite orange.
It is quite well. It's meant
It's
to
very
be
clever and
a highway cone. But I just wanted to acknowledge the work that was done both by
yeah,
the Village Events Committee and by the Highway Department.
yeah, it's appreciated. And then lastly, the Red Hook Public Library report. The library is gearing up to celebrate its 125th birthday in 2023. They have also launched their annual appeal. For details on how to donate, you can visit the library website at redhooklibrary.org or pick up a donation form in person at the library's main desk.
That's awesome. 125 years. Okay, the last is Trustee Dwyer McNulty's planning and zoning reports. And as he is not here, I will take a moment just to share that. In the month of November, the building department took in $4,532. It was a combination of building permits, fire inspections, site plan applications, and CO searches, certificate of occupancy searches. So that made up that number. And then there were 9 building permits issued. There was 1 certificate of occupancy issued, 20 certificates of compliance, 2 municipal searches, 5 fire inspections. There were 3 complaints, 1 on lighting, 1 on signage, 2 on signage, all remedied. Planning board actions, November 8th, 2022 meeting. Site plan for 3 St. John Street tabled to December 8, 2022 meeting. Site plan approval granted to 1 Market Street Cheese Cafe Eatery. And the zoning board did not have a meeting as they had no agenda to discuss. So one other thing I'd like to bring up, and we also do need, I need to have an executive session as well. But I did want to mention that I was contacted by a resident who was concerned about where she might be able to safely walk her dog in the wintertime, particularly since the school district has restricted access, significant access. And the question came up of Abraham's Park. And we do have a paved pathway that in the past has been considered a seasonal area, and so thus has not generally been plowed. And I did speak with our highway foreman, and he said after they switch over their equipment to fully snow, that they have a machine that would work quite well on that pathway. And I think that would be a nice addition to enable people to more easily use the park in the winter. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I appreciate the opportunity to think about where people can safely walk their dogs. And obviously encouraging people to continue to pick up after your dog. We do not want any extra surprises in the spring when the snow melts. I would like to make a motion to pay vouchers after audit, so I don't forget later. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I would like to go into executive session to talk about personnel or department structure. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We may have action after we come back. That's to be determined. So I don't know. Since we have no one on Zoom, you don't need to stay, but thank you for, if you just wrap things up, that'd be great. And I'll leave that up to you as to whether or not you stay. And Lori, thank you for coming. All right, so we are going to disappear into executive session, and we will be back. I need a motion to reopen public session.
So moved.
Thank you, Brent. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mel Corco. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I have a resolution to propose, and this resolution is to authorize legal fees to research a new position in the police department. And that new position, we are interested in exploring the creation of the position of police lieutenant. And so authorizes its Labor and Employment Council to research the law pertaining to the creation of the position of police lieutenant. Moreover, in the coming months, the village board will continue to discuss the possibility of creation of the position as permitted under applicable civil service laws. Be it further resolved that the village board agrees to discuss this matter further and authorizes its attorney to research same. It is not guaranteeing the creation of the position of police lieutenant. It is merely authorizing the village board to expend legal fees to further explore the legal process of the creation of such a position so that the village may further discuss whether creation of the position in the future is in the village's best interest. I am making that motion to approve this resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Charlie. Any discussion?
Can we get a copy of that resolution?
Of course you may, absolutely. And I would just like to add to the record that this discussion is with the additional responsibilities of our police department with the SRO program and adding the village of Tivoli and, of course, continuing to support the town of Red Hook. Looking at the structure of the police department seems like an appropriate thing to do at this time. So this just starts the process, and there will be much more discussion and analysis going forward. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the thoughtful discussions around all of this. And now, since we've already authorized payment of vouchers, Brent, I think you have a motion to make.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this evening's meeting of December 12th, 2022.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Milcorca. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And it's
Good night.